Hi there, hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson, I will teach you how to work out the equation of the normal to a curve. And there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. First one, for the curve y is equal to x to the power of 3 minus x squared minus 5x plus 3, find the equations of the normal to the curve at point -2, 1. So first of all, to work this out, let me just show it on the diagram so you know exactly what the question asks, okay? So there you go. We have a curve, and this is the tangent. And this is normal. So the question is asking for us to find the equations of the normal, this line here. So to do this, we know that for normal, the two gradient, so let's say this is gradient of this tangent is m1, and this is m2. And we know that because they both are perpendicular, so in another word, gradient of the tangent times the gradient of the normal, that's m2, is -1. So keep that in mind for me, okay? So what we need to do is we need to find the gradient of the tangent before we can find the gradient of the normal. So to work this out, step number 1, we follow this list. We need to find the point first, okay? But the point is given, so we have -2, 1. And then step number 2, we need to find the gradient. Now to find the gradient of the normal, we need to find the gradient of the tangent first. Now to find the gradient of the tangent, we need to find the gradient of this curve first, and then we substitute -2, 1 here. So -2, 1, which is at that point, if you like. So therefore, let me just write this down. So y is equal to x to the power 3 minus x squared minus 5x plus 3. So we just differentiate that. So this means that y dash is equal to 3x squared. And don't forget, remember, y is equal to x to the power of n. Y dash is, we bring the n down, and then we less 1. So n minus 1, so n minus 1. So that's why 3 minus 1 is 2. And the 2, we bring it down, become -2. And 2 minus 1, this 2 minus 1 give me 1. So x power 1 is x. And then minus 5x becomes -5. And then the 3, differentiate 3 is 0. So a constant has a 0 gradient, okay? Remember that. So now that is the gradient of the curve. But then we need to find the gradient at point -2, 1, at this point here. So when x is -2, so this means that y dash is 3 lots of -2, and then square minus 2 lots of -2 minus 5. So now we just work this out. You can either put it in a calculator or just quickly work it out. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. That gives you minus, become plus 4, and then minus 5. So that will give me 16 minus 5, so it's 11. So therefore, the gradient of the tangent, that is m1, okay? m1 is 11. That is the gradient of the tangent at point -2, 1, okay? So that's gradient of the tangent. So now we need to find the gradient of the normal. That's what we're after. So we need to find the equation of the normal. So we need to find the gradient of the normal first, okay? So for normal, so we know that m1 times m2, that give me -1. Keep that in mind. So now we have 11 times m, which is 11m, is equal to -1. So if I divide by 11 on both sides, so therefore the gradient of the normal, which is m2, is -1 over 11. So this m here, m is equal to -1 over 11. So there you go. So now let me just write this on here. So m is equal to -1 over 11. Now step number 3, we need to use this y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1 to find the equations of the normal, okay? So to find this equation here. So now let me just write it on here. So the rule is we know that the gradient is this, and we know that is at point -2, 1, and that is x1, y1. So the rule is y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. So m, we know that is -1 over 11, and y1 is 1. So minus y1, which is minus 1, equal -1 over 11. X minus becomes -2, that becomes +2. Okay, keep that in mind. There you go. So what I can do now is I can just expand this out. So if I expand this out and I rearrange it, that will give us y is equal to mx plus c. That is gradient y-intercept form. But then because it's with the fractions, better if we live in general form. So the general form is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And we want to have a, b, c must be whole number. Remember that. And a must be positive. Okay, keep that in mind. So let's make it into general form. So to make it general form, so what I do, I times both sides by 11 because I want to get rid of the 11 down the bottom. So that cancel out. So on the left hand side, I just expand. So that become 11y, and 11 times -1 is -11. And that would give me -1 left on this side. So -1 times x is -x. And -1 times 2 is -2. Now I just need to rearrange it. And this is -x. So therefore I just move on this side, become positive. So that become x plus 11y, and the -2 move on that side becomes +2. So -11 plus 2 becomes -9. So that is 0. So therefore this is the equations of the normal. Okay, so this equation here. So that one is equal to x plus 11y minus 9 is equal to 0. So there you go. So this is the equations of the normal. So this is the normal to the curve. Okay, so that's what we're after. Please pause the video and try this one yourself. Hi there, I'm back. How do you go? So let me go through it with you, okay? Before I do that, please do not forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't done so you can help me to grow my channel. So let me get into it. So we need to follow the rule, right? Step number 1, we need to find the point first. At the moment, it gives us the x value. So to find the point, so let me just write. Step number 1, we need to find the point. We have x, but we haven't got the y value. So we just substitute x into the functions. So when x is equal to 1, so y is equal to 3. So every time we see x, because x replaced with 1, okay? So that's it, this one here. So therefore, 3 lots of 1 power 4, and then we minus 4 lots of 1 power 3. And then we minus 2 lots of 1 plus 5. So that would give me 3 minus 4 minus 2 plus 5. Otherwise, just put that on the calculator. So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 minus 6. So that gives me 2. So the point is 1, 2. So there you go. We have the point. Now we need to find the gradient. So the gradient, number 2, we need to find the gradient. Now to find the gradient of the normal, step number 1, we need to work out the gradient of the tangent first, okay? To find the gradient of the tangent, so let me just write out the function first. So y is equal to 3x power 4 minus 4x to the power 3 minus 2x plus 5. So we just differentiate this to find the gradient of the function first. So y dash will give me 3 times 4 is 12. So 12x to the power 3 minus 3 times 4 which is 12, so 12x squared, and then minus 2. And then we want to find the gradient at point 1, 2. So when x is 1, okay, in another word. So when x is 1, so the gradient will give me 12 lots of 1 power 3. And minus 12 lots of 1 squared, and then minus 2. So that will give me, so that 12 minus 12 minus 2. So that give me negative 2. So the gradient of the tangent is, so therefore the gradient of tangent, which is just write m1 we do, equal negative 2. Okay, so we know that the gradient of the tangent is negative 2. To work out the gradient of the normal, so we know that m1 times m2 is negative 1. So this means that minus 2m equal negative 1. So m must be equal to, I divide by negative 2 on both sides, give me a half. So that is the gradient of the normal. So now, let me just write this step down. So that become a half. So step number 3, to find the equation of the normal, we can use y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So that's how we find out the equations of the normal. So let me just write this down. This point is 1, 2. And this is x1, this is y1, of course. So the rule is y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So y minus, so y1 is 2 equal m is a half. And then x minus x1, which is x1 is 1. So there you go. Then I can just expand this out and rearrange into y equal mx plus c. But then because it's fractions, so I better just make it into general form. Okay, so let me just clear this. So I times both sides by 2 because I want to get rid of these 2. Okay, so I times this by 2. And of course have the brackets because a whole lot times by 2. Okay, not just y. So now I just remove these brackets. So that become 2y. This time that give me minus 4. So that will give me, so 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is minus 1. Then what I do, I just rearrange it because x is already positive. So I move everything on that side. So this becomes 0 is equal to x. The 2y move over, become minus 2y. And minus 1, the 4 move on that side, becomes plus 4. So I simplify further. That give me x minus 2y plus 3. So therefore, the equations of the normal to the curve is x minus 2y plus 3 is equal to 0. There you go. Or you can leave it in gradient intercept form as well. And nothing wrong with that, okay? And I hope you got it correct. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.